Morning, Robert. Morning, Ed. Well, don't know. Yesterday wasn't so good, so I hope it'll be a bit better today. We'll see. That wasn't very good at all yesterday. Morning, Brady. Just give me a few more seconds, and we can start. Just 1 second, guys. It's not wrong to just the guys having a battle to sign in here. Give me a moment. I've got to do some of you. Be with you right now. Okay. Right. Where were we? Let's sort out. Needed just to get into the training room. Okay. Right. Yeah. Well, as we all know, CPI is coming up. Just wanted to get this guy to sort out his registration there because he wants to trade the CPI. Coming out later today. As mentioned, I expect very much a sideways market. A lot of people ask what's the expectation, and I think a couple of people asked Rory this morning. It's meaningless what I expect. A lot of the analysts say that the figures should be below expectation, but that doesn't mean anything. We all only know the fact when it actually comes out at 3:30. The rest is speculation. We can guess, but we don't know. Just bear that in mind. Okay, so as regards the trading from yesterday, it was not a day I shall remember in happiness. It was a bit of a disaster, to say the least. maybe we got a bit ahead of ourselves. I don't know, but I think if we'd said we expect to go up, then we should done the contrary aspect and sell it down, or vice versa. That's the way it seemed to go. Market is very confused until it gets more fundamental data. We use for learning purposes the technical analysis. That's what we've got to work with. But unfortunately, when you get interference from the fundamentals, that doesn't really count for too much. It can go through a support which isn't like a knife through butter if these occur. And that is the problem at the moment. I don't care how good or how experienced a trader you are, but if a figure comes out contrary to expectations, it'll have that effect on the market. And even though it looked like a good trade, it'll go the opposite way. So as always, you know, if you're going to trade it, make sure you got your volumes, you're aware of the risk in, and get your volumes within comfortable levels. I always say, don't worry about the profit you make, keep an eye on the downside. If you keep a strong idea on the strong, understanding of the risk involved, the downside involved, the upside then should look after itself. We don't want you to get hammered by overexposing on an expectation of particular trade, because it looks outstanding, and then some fundamental screws the system up. Also, I don't want you to get too excited if the fundamental, by sheer unadulterated luck, goes in your favor and you double your money in a couple of minutes. That wasn't, I hate to say it, skill. That was lucky, much as it was bad luck the other way around. So just be careful of that. Okay. That is, yeah, we got one out there. None of them gone particularly well. I mean, you don't really want to talk about it. In fact, I nearly peed off sick this morning, just joking. But yeah, we all had a bad week. It's not been my finest or our finest hour this week. Looking back, always easy in hindsight. Maybe we should have been a bit more circumspect. Maybe we did force a couple. I don't know. You know, if they worked out, we did the right things. Always in retrospect, but it has to say the last couple of days, as to paraphrase Churchill, I think exactly been my finest hour. That's one of those things. So yeah. See, this is the point, Cohen. I want everyone to read that. I didn't lose too much. When that occurs and you're having a rough time with fundamental stuffing the system up, and you can make a statement like that, I applaud that more than the guy doubling his money in the month. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say, well done, Coyote. Now, George comes up and says, well, no, I do. I double my money. Well, if you double your money, number one, you got lucky. Number two, you're overexposed. So instead of patting you on the back, I'll tick you off, but I'll more say, well done, Coyote, for doing it. I mean, a little bit of fun. I know I'm not a school teacher, you're not at school, I get that. But I'm trying to get across that if you get lucky once, you get unlucky the fifth time, it goes back. And I'm sure we've been trading for about a year or so. Yeah, we're all learning, including myself. You all are. You know, I've come across guys who started off with X, doubled it, and then put it back again because they're overexposed. They got lucky once. It's like putting all your money on red and then coming out. It comes to red on the casino. You know, if you play roulette, well done. Well, you put all back on red again. Black comes up, and you're back to broke again. You don't want to play it like that. And unfortunately, too many people are playing it like a lottery. It is not a lottery. It's a disciplined skill game. And to be successful, you've got to bear that in mind. And that's the toughest thing to teach us a lot. If all these courses teach you about knowledge, that's all very fine. But an exercise in discipline is vital. And I know what I'm talking about there because I'm really quite honest. You probably know me well, some of the guys. I'm quite an emotional person, which usually means discipline is not always a strong point. And my early years of doing this, I have to be honest, to join this, people at this, is I'm going to put my hand up and say my major problem with trading is not the knowledge in the past, it was exercising discipline. It's a lot better now, a hell of a lot better than it used to be. So I'm trying, I know you can't put an old man's head in a young guy's shoulders, I get that, but as long as you can sort of get the hang of that, concentrate on the patience and the discipline side, because it's usually those two psychological areas come back and bite. And we have felt it the last couple of days. But yeah, anyway, back to square one. Yeah, well, there you are. And then you might have been overexposed. 25% is a lot. If it's on about 10 trades, maybe, but if it's on one trade, then you, well, clearly you're overexposed. I go on it like a stat record and people still do it. You've got to get that bloody volumes sorted out. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely vital. Yeah, I don't want to add on that. You do not go budgeting when you're on payday and spend the whole month on a fancy TV set, and you can't eat, pay the rent, pay electricity, pay the school fees or whatever. You've got a budget. Okay. I know everyone's sold to get rich quick. Everyone wants to get rich quick. Everyone wants all that. But the ones that do get rich is usually not quick, but they do become rich through discipline. Okay. So, boring. I know it's boring. That's the problem, because that's the very problem. It's boring, but it's the way it is. It's like studying. Eh? It's boring, but unfortunately, it's necessary. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm hoping, maybe did John give you a call? I gave your number, Clinton, to John. John, your number to John. That's right. He's seen me back and get in for some reason. I'm the TR. I can't stop to help him. So he needs to come in because we want to discuss the CPI. Possible trade coming up just now. Okay, before we do that, as I say always, if a person like Robert puts up a trade a suggestion up, that does take precedence. Okay, so before I waffle on anymore, it's yeah. Then we will look at that. I've got a couple to look at for you, but I mentioned Clinton knows in the room, the strategy room just now, and probably a bit of clapping to go on, probably including yourself. We can look at it anyway. Right, I can't make that comment on the volumes because that's absolutely meaningless, Tembi. It depends on your account size. I can't suggest you go in 1 million, you've got $1 million in your account. I can't suggest you go in 1 million, you've got 1,000 in your account. You've got to work it out what you're prepared to risk on that trade as a percentage of your balance. The problem is, if balance is very small, you've got to break the rules. As everyone knows, a lot of people know that the international norm is 2% risk, between 1 and 2% of your balance on a specific trade. Now, you can make about 5 trades, each one between 1 and 2%. Now, that's impossible if you've got about $1,000 in your account or so, because then you won't be able to trade. I mean, 1% of $1,000 is 10 Rand. 20 Rand for 2%, 500, it's 5 or 10 Rand. We can't trade that way. So you've got to break the rules and increase. But it doesn't mean to say you go for 50%. If you're risking 50% or 30% or 40% of your entire capital in one trade, and it goes wrong, you're out the game. You get the point. So I'm sorry to labor this again. I know everyone's scared. I know Joburg particularly is often not got the highest known for being straight, you know what I mean? It's a lot of funny guys out there and trying to be diplomatic here. So yeah, so everyone wants to start with a small amount because they're scared someone's going to take their money or whatever. Well, we won't take your money, but if you're overexposed, yeah, the person take your money is you overexposed on the wrong one, and it's a zero-sum game, so the winner came out. So the guy who buys this or sells this, and he's correct. The other guy's overexposed, they get the money. So that's the guy's taking the money off you. But it's not stealing, it's fair play, if you see what I mean. So you've got to understand how you do this properly or not at all. I'm going to be quite upfront on this. Guys are getting the few $100. I don't be nasty here. You've got very little chance. You can't diversify. You make 2 losses on the trot, which can easily happen. Then you haven't got enough money to go in or the margin to go in. You're out the game. That sort of thing. So you need knowledge, you need the equipment, and you need the capital. And it's like the fire triangle: break one, the fire goes out, sort of thing. So just got to bear that in mind. If you're a bit scared and you want to see it go through, fair enough. But if you think you're going to start making decent tom on no capital, you might get lucky. But will it continue? Just bear that in mind. You want to do it properly, and just say, so if you've got $5,000 in your account, you should be looking about $300, slightly more if you want, but around about that, not exactly. 10 grand, about 500, 20 grand, maybe 700-800, 50 grand, maybe 1,000, 1,200, 100 grand, maybe 2 grand, something like that. See, depreciates the amounts you're risking as you increase the sums, because it now is worth your while to obey the 2% rule. And if the maths are gobbledygook to you, then, well, get a maths course or something, because it's like people don't know the basic arithmetic of it. What a contract size? How does it mean? What's margin? Get the leverage. you're driving blind, and it's going to bite. You've got to know these basics. The classes should teach some. You can interact, ask, we'll help. If you sit there, don't interact, don't find out, we can't help you. It's not something you sit there and it's going to flow to you. It's an interaction. Unfortunately, it does take a horrible word, effort and discipline to make it work. Okay, so AUD, NZD, right. Now, first of all, I'm on the wrong one. Oh, am I on the right one? AUD, NZD. What was it when you look for me? I'm the wrong. AUD, NZD, sorry. Right. Now, first of all, I see immediately there, it's in the neutral zone. So you can buy it or sell it, number one. Number two, it's gone up to the highs because, in my opinion, the Aussie dollar was a bit oversold, number one. And number two, the opening of the borders for the COVID reasons in China has helped the Australians. And those two combined a little bump up in the Australian dollar against a fairly stable, strong one at the moment is the Kiwi dollar. Don't know what's been there, so it's very expensive, by So what is the range at the moment of the last week or so? Let's have a look at it. 50 pips. That's too tiny. You're not wasting your time. With costs and it's too small. 100 pip range, not a problem. 50 pips. That's just my opinion. Can if you want, too tight a range. Now, so is it going to continue up? I don't know. It's not looking much follow through. Look at that wick there. Look at what's it telling you? The sellers are coming in. So it goes down. So let's say I'm sell it short. Right, let's go down there. What's that? 40 pip. Where are you going to put your stop? 30 pips. No risk reward. Wasting your time. You know what I mean? What makes you think it's going to come back to here? The only reasonable TP is about there. That's guesswork there. It's just too sideways. Plus, as the border open on China, they've got the free trade agreement I mentioned on Australia. There could be slightly tightening up on that. And the area is called the Antipodes, where they are there. And they're similar currencies, similar economies. Obviously, one's bigger than the other. It's a bigger country, more people, I get that. But similar sort of setup. So yeah, what would make you think to sell it or buy it? I'm going to be honest with you, Robert. I personally wouldn't touch this. But that's my opinion. I always end up by saying that because I want to clarify. I don't know. I can only come up with my opinion. And when I say I don't know, nobody does. Clearly, otherwise we'd all be trillionaires. Eh? But I want to have some feedback on that because the whole idea is a forum to participate and get your opinion. Oh, hang on there. That's a good point there, George. I'm using the artificial name, hypothetical name there. I didn't think of that. I didn't check the monthly. I didn't check the weekly. That's a good point. Thanks very much. Hang on. Now you convinced me. Maybe it is a good idea. So we are trying to throw in like a forum with sharing the ideas. Yes and no. Well, look, we might find something, but probably clear, yeah. But okay, so I hope that answers your question. So by knowing the base, you have to go through the LMA and MT5 and have knowledge, right? Not LMA, you mean the stock market college thing? That's what the management course. Management? LMS, sorry, the LMS, I think you mean. Yeah, that's stock market college. That's separate. I'm with Quick Trade. Some guys already got the knowledge, don't need the course, or they decide to trade without the knowledge. That's their choice. But yeah, but you need the basics. I don't say you're going to be an expert and spend hours reading books on it, but the basics you need to know, and then we can get practical in the trading room. If you don't know the lot size, you know the budget, you know the margin, you know what spread is, don't know anything, this might be a little bit difficult to start off with. Now, if you don't go to university study maths, you've still got to find out 1 and 1 is 2, basically, because then they assume you know that when you study maths at university. You get the idea. Okay, it's just the basics. We'll look at that in a minute. Okay, right. So my take was still on this one. Anybody see a trade here? I've stated my case. What do you guys think? Okay, no decide. That's exactly. Leave it on them. Exactly. Might be for a sell, but what are you going to aim at? What tells you going to go down here? If you go there, you can't get a risk reward. If you go down there, it's got to break these two guys here. And what over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nearly 2 weeks. Remember, there's 5 trading days a week. Well, what makes you think it's going to get back down there? It's ranging too tight a range, the bottom line. I'd rather keep the money in your pocket on that one, in my opinion. Okay, what was the next one? Come back to it if anyone disagrees, just have to tell me. Okay. This is the forum. This is not a bloody dictatorship here. AUDJPY. And I need that feedback. I mean, then finally comes on and says, sorry to, can I come on? I said, no. Anna Marie said, no, come on, please. I like it when they unmute. It makes it a lot easier. It's nice to know the courage to ask these questions. It's usually valuable for everyone as well. They just got the courage to ask, and it everybody as well.
That is why kinakogena.
Just 2 requests. It's got to be in English, and it's got to be something to do with the trading room. Morning, Lorenzo. Okay, AUDJPY. Right. What do I make of this one? Actually, hang on. Yeah, Jacob came out with one yesterday. One of the guys there, he's about the only one who seemed to be right, actually. How embarrassing for myself. He's sort of short there. I said, no, I'm going to stand aside. A couple of guys went fit and supported Jacob. Well done, you guys. You're doing all right. 91.43 was the entry. Clearly, it's 60 pips in profit. What a pleasure. A couple of things you can do. Modify your stop loss. I think you should do that anyway, maybe to enter just below. The other aspect on the daily, it's come down to some resistance here. So there might be some profit taking. I've mentioned earlier on when people turn around and say, it's coming off a bit. Should I get out of this trade? I'm very reluctant to say get out of a trade, and they do, and it suddenly bounces back in their direction. So I maybe change that a little bit. I think it might be worthwhile to take profit here because it looks like it's coming down to a bit of support. It might get a bit of profit taking. I might get a profit taking bounce. However, maybe you should maybe put the stop in at maybe 91.10. I prefer to buy around figure, but then you're taking 30 pips away from your profit. It might be prudent to take it. Now, I'm going to cover my disclaimer backside by saying, if you do take the profit and you took it and it goes down, don't blame me. It's just a suggestion. Ultimately, it's your decision. So I might say buy gold right now, and you do, and it goes wrong. I suggested it. That's the disclaimer. The only thing is, I can cover myself. I'm licensed to advise. If a guy says he's not licensed to advise, then you can go and hammer him. But yeah, but the bottom line is, I'll be a bit nervous here. But any signs of buyers coming in? Not really, but it might even come off a bit further. But watch it like a hawk if you want to hold on to it. But it might get a bit of a bounce here. Not sure, to be honest, Pete. I think it'll have, because it's the second biggest economy in the world, it'll have some form of effect. The extent of it, I am not so sure. I'm not so sure, to be honest. Hi, Zach. Good to have you back. Right. Okay. So as a trade on it, well, no, I wouldn't buy now. Or it might jump. To be fair, it might jump. I think it probably will, actually, to be honest, but probably is not going to cut it. If you see my point. Okay, I think it probably will, but we've already got the short one, so keep an eye on that one, etc. I'm not sure I'll be going into a trade in this one. I won't be chasing it, absolutely not. As I said, I expect a bit of a bounce, but I don't know the extent of a bounce. Remember, it's below the moving averages, so technically it's still in the weaker zone. So I would leave it alone. If you're in, hold. If you're not in, fair enough. Okay, I hope that's all clear. I'm not waffled too quickly at you guys. Just give me a moment to write some of these down. I'm going to miss one or two. The NAS we wanted to look at, GBP AUD, and then check the trades first, and we'll discuss again the CPI trade. Hope John got in there, got it sorted out. I don't know if you got a call from John Lewis there, Clinton. And I've covered everything. Okay, all right. My GP buy for sale is already going down. It's still good sell. Okay, before Tempe reminded me. Oh, great stuff. Thanks, Clinton. It's Juan Lewis, Juan. Okay, not John, Juan. Okay. Oh, hang on, you got through Clinton's name. Oh, I get it. God's a clever guy, that Clinton. I can think of that. Okay, just going back to what Tembi says, because this is very important for everybody. What volume should I go when I go trading? I say, have you all got the idea? You've got to work out what you're prepared to risk. I might say you should risk 5%, but you might be comfortable to risk 10%. Because unbeknown to me, you've got a large amount of money on a fixed deposit, which is coming through in a month because you decided to take the money out, so you can go up bigger. Or you might say, I can, 5, I hear you, but I'm more comfortable with 3%. It's entirely up to you. But you've got to say that once you're on that trade, cannot afford to lose that money. If you cannot afford to lose that money, psychologically you can't, then you either reduce the position or don't trade, or increase the amount of money in so you can achieve that. But that's the bottom line. Okay. Okay. See Alicia there. Right. So hope that's all clear, because it is so utterly vital. And I've mentioned this again and again. That I would say is not the lack of knowledge, complete lack of knowledge. Yeah. But even guys who've got a bit of knowledge, without doubt, that is the biggest is the wrong volumes when they're trading. I cannot overstate that, the problem with that. It is without doubt the ones that give the people the most grief. And I see it all the time, even guys with large accounts, trading with the long volumes, no stop loss, preying on it rather than scientifically looking at it, and it comes back and bites. Then they put more money in to defend their margin, don't take the loss. In the end, it goes down, it goes worse, and oh God, it comes tears. You get the idea. Please look after that. Do not drive 180 in an 80 zone. And if you do, if you have a crash or spend a week in jail with a 20 grand fine, well, that's your fault. It's not ours. You get the idea. Okay, right. The next one on the list is the NAS. I wouldn't touch the barge pole right at the moment. I don't know what to do with it, but I wouldn't touch it. This will be affected. Never mind the technicals. This will be affected by the CPI. If you're convinced the CPI is going to be better than expected, which means it's look like the 25 basis increase next month in the US interest rate instead of 50, and you're convinced that's going to occur, then you'd be buying it. If you think it's going to be above expectations and hinting more at 50 or even 75, which is a lot higher, then it'll come off. You make your guess. I ain't going to guess on it. So in other words, don't touch it at this stage of the game. Okay. Now, when we finish trade ideas, you can trade this if you've got the money, or maybe euro dollar or US dollar Japanese yen if you haven't got enough money for the NASDAQ to trade on. We'll go through it again. We discussed yesterday. A buy stock, sell stock trade opened up before the CPI. Okay. If you're not sure how to do it, leave it. If you are sure, great. If you're sort of sure, just want to try it out, and then you can try it in your demo instead of your live. That's up to you. But if you're still not sure, we'll have a bash in at the demo. You're wasting your time, because you've got to have some idea of the concept. And say, oh, well, I don't know real money, I'll go and risk fake money. That's just self-kidology. That's a computer game. Just to make sure you've got some idea of the concept. It's not that complicated. Just got to understand the concept. Okay, so for the time being, leave it alone. 10,650 level, that's down here somewhere. Yeah, that's what we were aiming at on the silver rally aspect, but anything can happen now. Well, I can't say, but it goes there. A completely different story will come about. Let's ignore the fundamentals. Let's say sell the rallies going forward, off it comes, you take your profit there. That might take maybe a week or two to get there. Let's say it takes a week to get there, maybe 8, I don't know, whatever, it takes time to get there. By the time it gets there, the situation probably will get a bounce, yeah, a profit-taking bounce of some sort. We don't know the extent of it, but the trend is still powerful. Will it break through or not? We don't know. We have to look at the situation. The situation is now still inflation is under control. We're talking about 75 basis. Debt is still a lot under control. A lot of problems. Wait for a bit of a bounce. Profit takers are taking it, then they'll sort of come back in, sell it down. We don't know the scenario at that specific stage, so we can only look at it then. I can't even begin to guess If he gets down there, buy it. No, that's too far ahead. Okay. If you're still a learner, what would be better by doing trade on the demo or going to the live platform? Okay, just remind me that I want to answer that question. Move along to GBP, AUD. Like I said, that takes precedence and come to those. But GBP, AUD. Right, what is that telling me? I looked at it this morning. I'm glad you brought that up, Jerome. That's telling me the sod all happening. Less than 50 pips, a couple of pips in costs. So talking around about just over 40 pips is the range at the moment. Will it break that? I don't know. Will it come back? I don't know. There's no indication it's going to do either. You cannot trade that at the moment. Happy with that, Brady. Good stuff. It's just my opinion again, and you know, you can say, well, don't be rude about that. You're talking crap there, Roger. That might be a bit over the top. But if you have a other sensible opinion, we can learn. Good point there, George. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Trying to get away with, you know, sort of egos. I'm right, you're wrong. Well, we're learning together. And one thing I'm telling you, to learn this business is humility. The quicker you learn, the better. Once you get ahead of yourself, it just anyway comes back and bites. Okay, so going back to this one, I wouldn't do anything at the moment. Okay. I keep telling, can you, I know there, John keeps coming back on the WhatsApp. I can't speak to the WhatsApp now because I'm in the trading room. If it's Euclid or whatever, can you just speak to him and help him out there? Because I can't stop and speak to individuals on WhatsApp when I'm in the trading room, unfortunately. Okay, GBP CHF. Anybody wants to do it, we'll come back to it. Leave it. I'm looking for sell on this next one. NZD CHF. And I've got a couple I'll be looking at just now. It's AUD CHF, CHF JPY, and even AUD CAD we'll have a look at as well. Okay, NZD CHF, leave it alone. Come back if you want to do something with it. GBP CHF. Probably a sell looking at if we get an entry. Probably haven't looked at it yet. No, that's interesting. I thought it'd be looking like a sell. Looks like it's gone to a buy now, isn't it? That is interesting. Just shows you've got to look at the chart what the buy and sellers are doing. Now that's interesting. That is interesting. Technically speaking, yes, you're quite right. It's a buy. I thought that'd be a sell there. Why, yeah. I think the Swiss seems to be suffering a little bit. It had to take a bit of a knock in the last since yesterday. Technically speaking, that's a buy. I'm a little bit nervous to buy it myself, but it looks like technically it's a buy. Yeah, let's stop. Maybe that's a bit tight, maybe a bit wider. Maybe can we take it down there? Yeah, we can take it down there. Let's just stop, and then we can take it up here. Now you can get a risk reward if you take it up there. I have to do this as a buy. I'm a bit chicken at the moment, but doesn't stop you guys if you like it. Technically looks like a buy. Where's the T? Yeah, there it is up there. That's fine. So yes, anyone want to buy this one? I'll put the R up if you want it. Or just make as if he knows what he's doing. He can do his own calculations. But anyone want to join him here? And I'll put the R up. It's up to you, Shifra. If you want to try to stop, you can, but I think the place safe is slightly wider stop below these guys here. And then we can take it up to this guy here. One 1.1480. What the hell's going on now? That's not going to work, so I have to shift that up a bit. Maybe you take it up to 200. Now we don't get to get out of ourselves. Take it up there. You can always adjust that. Once you got the risk reward, I don't even worry about the TP till it gets nearer there, and then whether I move the TP and modify the stop. You get the idea. It's getting there. It's looking still good. Get rid of the TP or move it up. Not get rid of it. Move it up. Move your stop up to protect if it goes wrong and ride a bit further. No problem there. Once you got the risk reward, which you got there, it's okay. Then it's concentrate on the risk management. $180. If you want to tie the stop, tell me. But the funny markets now, I'm thinking rather get a smaller position with a wider stop. That's my take anyway. Anyone want to join Zeph and Schiffer on this? Tell me if you're going to do it. Or if you don't like the figures, you want to type them, whatever, tell me and I'll put it up. If a couple of guys like it, I'll put it down as a Zeph trade so it works out. Okay, fine, you like it. Schiffer, you say you like it? We'll go down there, okay. GBP, VHF, 5. What's it now? 130. 1.12 31 1.5. Okay, I've got that down. Okay. Right, let's have a look. Not as much as the others. It'll affect obviously the dollar. It'll affect the NAS, it'll affect the shares, it'll affect gold. And it probably will affect the Canadians as well. It seems to follow the Americans, the Canadians on that. Whether it affect these two too much in either direction, I don't think it's going to be a big problem on that. So there, got it down. So there's the figures. I've written it down as well to go back to. Okay, quite a few of them. See how that goes. Okay, you've all got the figures. Move on. All right. There's another one sitting down, NZDCHF. NZD is quite strong at the moment. Remember I talked about the heavyweight, middleweight, and the lightweight. That's all changed now. Looks like the US dollar is getting sort of middle to lightweight. Euro's getting to the heavyweight area. Certainly in the sort of heavy middleweight area anyway. Certainly the Swiss, in my opinion, although yesterday changed that round, was in the heavyweight area. It's the only one in my opinion. Scratching at it is the NZD. So these are pretty even Steven. Will it continue further up? It looks like it's come back and tested that support there. It might break up from here. Now, am I confident to go and buy this against the Swiss franc? Am I convinced it's going to break through? No. I am therefore going to say something quite open with you. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what, I don't know who asked for it, but I'm not sure what to do with this one. It's popped up, sellers came in, it's popped down, a couple of buyers. I'm not comfortable. Let's look at other weekly. Start for the weekly. Yeah, it's gone up. This is slightly different. It's gone up. It's in the sell zone here. It's gone up and it's been defended the other way around, which is not helping our cause to buy or sell it. It's got a contradictory coming in there. And this one again is in the buy zone. It's come off. Few buyers are coming in. Will it continue back there? I'm not confident enough to go for it. I think I'm going to miss that one personally. Okay. Any comments on that? Okay, fair enough, Robert. Good enough. Okay, right. I'm going to go back. What's that question? Jerome, just a second. Just scroll up the chat line, see if I can find him there. Yeah, Jerome from Faith. Right. If you're still a learner, this is an important question. What would be better by doing trade on the demo or going the live platform? Right. I stated before, I've stated again. The demo is there to learn how to operate the platform. The last thing you want to do is press the wrong button when you're placing a trade. So you need to feel confident of that and it's real money. The other aspect, the demo, is to try out a new strategy, like I mentioned about the CPI strategy, which we're going to get to discuss again just now. If you're not confident, try that strategy out in the demo to see how it plays out, give you the comms to go live. To learn how to trade on a demo, Jerome, is a complete waste of time. You will not learn anything. All you're doing is it's feeding yourself, because a major part, like I mentioned earlier on in the discussion, is the psychology and the emotions involved. Not how much knowledge you got, how you control that emotion in your trading. There is no emotion on the demo, because if you lose, it doesn't matter. If you win, it doesn't matter either. So often people play around the demo because it sells psychology. Then they've had a good run the demo because they don't really care, etc. There's no emotion involved. If you go to live, they can tighten up and they start making mistakes. Everything they've learned the demo is now forgotten about. They made 5 successful demos and they make a couple of unsuccessful on the live because the emotion interfered. You've got to learn the emotional way. So once you know how to operate the platform and you get a signal, if it's your first and you're not that confident on the psychological side, not the trade, psychological side, let's say you can afford 4 micros, argument's sake. You've done your risk analysis, you've got the position size calculator, and you worked out what money I've got in the account, I can afford 4 micros. Then try 2. Just your first one. It's just basically breaking through the comfort zone so that then you're comfortable. Once that's broken, you're away. If you keep putting it off, then it's going to be more difficult to trade. I know somebody, she's in her 60s and she's a lawyer. She's got her own business. She's been a lawyer for a long time, got her own business, and she can't drive. Well, she can now, she can't drive, right? This is a true story. And in the father's will, who died a couple of years or so ago, said before she gets paid out, he's a surgeon, the will, which is quite a large sum, to learn how to drive. So she had to now, and it was a nightmare for the instructor, and only on an automatic, so she can get the will. And then quite amusing, somebody gave it a drive, and then she couldn't quite drive to put petrol in properly, to reverse properly, to get it correctly aligned to where the petrol pump goes. But you still got to test in the order, so you still can't draw gear. What I'm saying is, after all those years of putting off learning how to drive, it's a nightmare to learn how to. So the quicker you know what button to press, the quicker you take a live trade, even a small one, the better it is. Just to break through that fear level. If you continue too long on the demo, you'll get to the stage you chicken out trading. I know, I've been there. When I started all those years ago, I would no end of a chat about a 50,000, I can't remember, a large amount of dollars in a Forex trade, FXCM I think it was. And I was doing very well all the demo. And then, yeah, when are you going live? Oh, I'm doing it just now. You get the idea. Okay. No, you got to go down. You got to go live once you've got the feeling. There, and Tony is backing me up on that. And as long as you completely understand that, very important. If you take the emotion side out of trading, you're learning nothing. Because that, as I said before, is the biggest thing you've got to discipline. Of course you do. Yeah. I used to go fancy things. You start off by discipline. I'll only risk 1,000. Then you get bored. It's the demo, and then you go into too big. It's a bit like going to the. You're on 100 grand a month, and you go to the casino, and you go, no such thing anymore. But let's pretend you go to the blackjack table, and it's £1 bet. You're going to do daft things because £1, there's no fun in it. There's no exhilaration of winning or losing your rounds. You start putting more in anyway, out of boredom, do silly things. That's called underexposing. Okay. Yeah, we're on the same page there. Right, I think we've cut the trade ideas. I've got a couple to look at. We discussed them this morning in the strategy room. Might not have changed. We'll look at them anyway. AUD-CHF. I think it's a bit overcooked, and I think there might be a possibility of some downside. You say, on the 4 you say, oh, hang on a minute there. That's better. Why would you do that? Well, because it's in the neutral zone. It's between the 50 and 100, it turns out, and the 200-day moving averages. It's right up against the highs there. The Swiss has weakened a bit lately, but I'm not sure that's going to continue. So I thought the possibility of a downside. Remember, we had a trade out here, I think it was last week, or when we had, not the trade, because it only started this week. We had a trade idea out, and it did okay. It popped up, and I think everyone stopped out in the profit. It didn't get to TP, but it got fairly close. It didn't actually reach there. I don't think it did, or did it? Can't remember. But the point is, you all made money on it, and I think it's a possibly a downside here. Clinton, but I think most people said they'd sit on the side in the strategy room, but I think it's got a possibility of some downside there. So I'm going to look at the weekly. So it seems to be holding, going back to October 2021. Some sellers are coming in. Let's look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour, I get it. On the 4 hour, it is in the buy zone. It's above the wall, but it seems to be holding. And this isn't completed yet in this candle. Let me complete at 12 o'clock. If it completes a reddish candle here, then that would be called an evening star. That's not a tradable evening star on its own. It's just an extra confirmation to sell it. Don't ever go an evening star alone on a candlestick formation as a reason to sell or buy it. You know, well, sell it, evening star, obviously. Morning star, you'd buy it. But it's a confirmation, and that's all it is. But if you like it, let's look at the hour. Bit indecision there on the hour. Let's look at the 15 minutes. Indecision there. So it's I'm a bit clucky off, especially after yesterday. But I think there might be a bit of possibility there. Does anyone feel fairly confident, or do you want to sit with this one out? Why do you think of that? Can I ask very much here when we go? Yeah, we're going to do the CPI in a minute, Rob. Once we've got the trading ideas sorted out. Absolutely. Is it going to be different? It's supposed to be similar. I haven't used a demo since, I don't know, since the Dead Sea first recorded sick. But it's supposed to be similar, except it's fake money. I think, if I'm correct, you can't put as many instruments in your watch list as you on the demo as you can in your live. And I think you're only supposed to have it for 1 month. The reason is to try and get people away from being hooked on a computer game and start to actually get to using the real. But it's supposed to be similar, yeah. Okay, that's a question now, Roy. Right. Anybody want to have a bash at this? Let's have a look. Stop loss up here, 30 on the day, yeah, a little bit higher, 50. Now we're going back to September. With September, that's 3.5 months ago, a little bit higher. Put it up to there, that's 70 pips, that's fine. And now we're going back to 20th of September. Yeah, that's well, that's 3.5 months ago, yeah. It was that level there. I think it's too bad. What do you think, guys? Is it? Or is it 3 months? Okay. Well, I haven't touched a demo for a while. If it's 3 months, 6 months, forever, I don't know. It's for your own sake, unless you enjoy doing it, the computer game. Well, that's up to you. But from activity to learn how to trade, no. Okay, we're gonna move on. Anybody like the look of this one? No, I love it. If you've ever been sales, you'll know what I mean. Oh no, I like to think about it. I'll get back to you. I'll discuss with my wife, or I'll discuss with my husband, or whatever. Yeah. No, that's what I want to hear. A direct yes or no, or a yes from Anthony. Okay, and Tony. Wrong one. Sorry, keep forgetting it's defaulted to there. It's better. Let's put it slightly higher, this guy here, going back to September. There we are. TP should work down to there, 63.28. Yeah, we've got a risk reward, $100 a micro, just over. It's about $6 or about $100 a micro, plus minus. Yeah. If you're new to trading, that's unfortunately got to learn. Yeah, Elroy, it's quite a natural business psychologically. Like, was it Philip? Somebody there teaches the piano, and everybody naturally wants to play the piano after 5 minutes. Unfortunately, I hate to say, cold water in your dream there, that ain't going to happen. Like any form of earning money, it's a skill. The higher the skill, the higher the earnings. Learn the skill, learn the earnings. This is no different. So you need to attend regularly the forum here and go to a couple of classes, for the stock market college classes or whatever, just to get the basics. You'll pick up as you go along. And nobody 100% knows when to buy or sell. Otherwise, you know, you've got to have a buyer and a seller, but you'll get better at it. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Well, I'll leave you to Mark to chat to Elroy if you like. No on me. Okay, fine. Anybody like this? If anybody likes it, these two people, I'll put it down. If you don't, well, I won't put it down. But Elroy, if you don't anything about trading, you haven't got any course or anything like that, I strongly suggest you don't trade. You will become a cropper. Don't drive a car if you don't know how to drive a car. You know what I mean? Then Elroy, you're going to make your mind what you do. If you want to do this, you need capital invested knowledge and capital to make use of that knowledge. That's another problem. People invest in the course and now they haven't got any money left to make use of it. You know, it's like anything else. It's a capitalist system. But if you can't afford the course, I mean, I can't afford the knowledge, but I want to be a doctor. Can't afford the knowledge to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. Well, how does that work? You have to. And you won't get free training in here. You'll get free confusion if you don't know. I like the sound of that guy, this guy. Pete sounds like an intelligent guy. Listen to Roger. That guy's like, he probably, as a matter of fact, he's got a genius IQ. I couldn't agree more with Mr. Mayor there. Okay. But I think you'll find that those who know me, I'm a pretty straight shooter. And I'll say the good stuff and say I can be harsh, but at least I think I'd rather hear the truth harshly than possibilities of dreams, which in the end turn sour. Okay. And you will not, with no knowledge, no money, having a bash at it, rather go to the casino. You might get lucky there. And you can have a free drink and sit in the luxury Emperor's Palace or wherever you stay. And if you're going to deal with Mark, he's a very wealthy guy. So ask for a major discount. There you are, as a tip for you, Elroy. And the major discount you scrounge out of him, you can use for your trading. How's that? Oh, sorry, Mark. Only kidding. Only kidding. Okay, so anyone want to do this back on a more serious note? We'll do that GB CAD in a moment. Anybody want to do this? And Tony liked it. Anybody like to do this? Brilliant, Mark. Absolutely. They've blown it all anyway. I heard someone, I think Clinton say, might be stage 7 load shedding coming up. What a bloody disaster. Trouble is, all the stuff in the fridge starts going off there. Eh? Anyway, moving along, it looks good. Does that mean you're in? I okay, put it down. The AUD, CHF, cell, A64, 32, call it in between the spreads, they call it, 64.84. One thing you can learn here, Roy, don't confuse points with pips. A lot of guys are trading points a pip. And there's a big difference. 10 points a pip. Hang on, 100 pips is my cost. That's ridiculous. Well, no, it's not. 10 pips or 5 pips or whatever. Okay, blah, blah. AUD, got that down, we move on. Right. Same as you, Philip Hayes. Was it you said you're a piano teacher? People want to play like Liszt or Beethoven, were both brilliant piano players as well as composers in 5 minutes. Not going to happen. Okay, right, where are we? GBP CAD. What's the immediate thing that tells you when you look at that? What's immediate tells you? More than I expected. I thought it was going to be about a 20 pip. Always check. Looks about 20 pip range. It's actually 80 odd pip. Not bad. Too much indecision there. Sorry, Zep. I'm not keen. Flat, yeah. Anybody keen? I've stated my case, not. Oh, well, I didn't say that. Okay. Well, maybe you didn't. I missed that. Beg your pardon. But if it closes above there, you want to buy it, eh? 16317. I think probably better close above here. I think probably 30 would be a better one. Up to you. Okay. Well, if it gets there, we'll have a look at it. But at the moment, leave it alone. Okay. 5 days late for that train. If you're kidding, I think it's quite amusing. I quite like that. Yeah. If you bought it 5 days ago, you'd be sitting your backside waiting for something to happen. Okay, well, if it breaks, let us know. We'll have a relook at it. Okay, so okay. No, that's fine, but we'll look at it again. I'm going to the office, by the way, at 11 o'clock. So try and get a Wi-Fi going. I'm going to do some training on something. But I'll be able to fill WhatsApp stuff if I can. But I will be in the train, so I'm a bit tired in replying to any WhatsApp queries, etc. Because I'm going in there from training on something. Okay, just so you know. Right, where are I? Okay, so we'll come back to that. Okay. A couple more look at CHF JPY. Thank God we didn't go into it yesterday. You guys weren't keen. Looked at it, and thank goodness for that. Look how it came off. Look how it came off. I'm starting to think there's a possibility here of a buy on this one. It's done some quite extreme technical damage coming off so much. It's not completely closed below the 200, and I'm not sure the Swiss franc weakness is going to be sustained too long. Not for any other reason. It's one of the few currencies that's not relying too much on import-export like other countries or manufacturing. It's relying on banks, and they're well known, etc. So it's a lot more stable for those reasons. So I think it's coming down to maybe we'll go to buy. I think probably want a confirmed one here, but it looks like it's reached around 141 figure. I think we haven't seen any buyers yet, so we need confirmation. I think it's a possibility we can get in on this one's a potential upside. I can't put the stop here, which I'd like to. That's 250 pips away. It's too far. Down here, too far away. My problem is the stop. So we'd have to put a tighter stop down here somewhere. But if we can get to see it still falling, we can't. This is one I think at this stage, there's no buyers. Don't catch a falling sword, guys. Just let Pietro in. Don't catch a falling sword. I think there's a possibility we can get some upside. I think that Swiss is overcooked at the moment. Is a possibility. Okay. GBP is coming out tomorrow, quite right. So it's coming out, they're all homosexuals or something, yeah. The pound's coming out the closet tomorrow. Okay, so we'll come back to that, keep an eye on that possibility. GBP JPY. What do you want to do with this one? Oh, sorry, you said to pick it apart. Read the bloody thing, Roger. Sorry about that, Henry. Well, it's come right down to support on the daily. Will it continue down? Might do. I'd rather wait. What I'd rather wait to do again. What I like to do is see it come off to maybe this sort of level here, bounce up, hold, and come off again. And then I would like to sell it. But I want that confirmed. Breakthrough, come back, test, come off again. Then, yeah, put the stop. How far away is that? That's too far. Maybe use a 4 hour for a stop and then sort of around that level there, take it down. Absolutely. But I want confirmation. I'm not going to do it now. Personally speaking, I suggest don't do it now. We have, and Brady, we have. I think to leave it alone. Anyway, before we do that, that's my take. Euro JPY, we'll look at that quickly. If you disagree, tell me, we'll look at it again. All right, bang in a neutral zone, halfway house. Same sort of scenario, no confirmation. Go down to here, that's 90 pips away. Stop up here, 170 pips away. We're going to put the stop there. No risk rewards. You're going to put the stop there. That's not going to work. You're putting it halfway through a 10-hour-old candle. No. Okay, for as long as you enjoy the class, you got to go, as they say. Okay, yeah, leave them both alone. NZD we did, we'll do it again quickly. It was a leave alone. Just have a look at it, Brady. Yeah, again, neutral zone, half of the neutral zone, totally 10-hour-old candle. Remember that. It's only 10 hours old, this candle. Goes up, sellers came in, goes down, buyers came in, total indecision. Is it going to hold bounce? We can't confirm. Is it continue down? We don't know. Let's say you're going to go for a short. We're going to put the stop up here, somewhere up here, 60 odd pips away, where you aimed at, there. That's not where the cut it, you've got to aim down there. What makes you think it's going to get there? NZD is not the weakest currency the world's ever seen. There's far more ticks to leave it than to jump into it, okay? In a wider view, well, okay, wider view, maybe look at a weekly then. Maybe put the stop up here, about 150 pips, maybe put 160 pips stop, take it down there. I'd rather be on the short side than the long, to be honest. Have a go at that and have your stop above there, and maybe sit it for maybe a while. Put it that way. You can work that out. You clearly trade before. You're not a complete novice, but I work with shorter term here. For the moment, leave that alone. Okay. I agree with short, but wait for short term. Yeah. Okay. AUD CAD won't agree with it at all. I think leave it alone. Didn't say short, but yeah. I had to probably longer term short. Okay. AUD CAD is one I want to look at as well. Possibly, I think it was a short on this one. Or was it a buy? I can't remember. No, a buy, I think. Actually, now looking, I'm not sure now. No, I'm not looking at that. Weekly pre decision. Let's go for buy. The day, I mean. No, I don't know why I put that up. That's no. Thought might possibly some more upside, but it's not been confirmed. Down to now. Sorry, wait from the time. Beg your pardon. Crop that off. That's it. So, right. Any trade ideas you want to come back to? Put it on the chat line or unmute yourself and tell me. Just unmute you all. Sorry, beg your pardon. So you can do that if you want to chat. That comes first. Right. Let's go back to the CPI coming up at 3:30. Mentioned it before. All the ones that got the concept before. Busy trade, think of questions to ask, etc. Carry on. You'll know all this. Newer guys. Right. This is where you can do, I think it's called a straddle or a butterfly trade. It's not the fancy words. It's a buy stop, sell stop trade. You will use, if you can afford it, you can use the NASDAQ if you got $5,000 or more. If you got less than that and you want to do indices, use the S&P. If you want to do a Forex one, use the US dollar or the Euro dollar. If you got that, Euro dollar, the Dow Jones if you got the top. I would say 10 grand or more if you want to use the Dow for the straddle trade. Okay. So 10 grand minimum balance and enough free margin. Don't going to be saying you got 10 grand, jump in, and you got about 2 grand free margin. That ain't going to cut it. You've got to have 10 grand balance and enough free margin after the trade, etc. Otherwise, pick something else. Okay, the Dow at the moment, don't touch it. You're going to wait for +3. Simple as that. Mr. What? Bloody hell, how do I pronounce that? Bakui. Okay, leave it for the moment. Right, so if you've got 5 grand or S&P, Euro dollar or US dollar Japanese yen, use those. Right. If you use a currency, I suggest 20 pips either side. If you use the S&P, 25 pips either side. If you use the NASDAQ, suggest 30 pips either side. If you got that written down, if you haven't, I'll come back to it. We'll start off with the NAS with 30 pips either side. Don't do it now. It's going to travel a bit sideways. Comes to 3, maybe 3:10, just after 3 o'clock. It's probably fairly quiet, wait for the figures to be released. You will then go and you'll work out what you're prepared to risk as a normal way. You've got to get your volumes right. You should know that by now, how to work out your volumes. Then what you simply do is this. You go to NASDAQ, you go to volumes, you put the volume you worked out, you're prepared to risk. This is, I think it's a good idea, but at the same time, there's nothing risk-free. Okay. So work out your volumes the normal way. And then you go to a pending order. Remember, the pending order, in this case, will be a buy stop. You go to the buy stop, you put in the price. Let's say it's 11,400, right? Let's say it's 11,400 on the buy, not on the sell, on the buy. The figure's 11,400 just after 3 o'clock when you get in. 30 pips means you'll put in 11,430 in the price. Do not put a stop, do not put a take profit. Just put in the price 11,400 and then place the order 11,400. This is pretend to get the idea, if you got the concept. If you haven't, forget it. If you have, you're not 100%, try out the demo. If you have 100%, try it on the live as long as you work your volumes out. Okay, and then you place the order. Once that's done, you go back and you go to pending order. You put your put the sell stop in, put in your volumes, and then if it's 11,400 there and 11,390 there, it's below, so it'll be 11,360. So you put in 11,360 there, and you press the place the sell order. Okay, bang, done. All right. Then you've got a placed order above the market and a placed order below the market. We get it. Now the news comes out, and it's good news for the Nasdaq. It jumps up. Great. What's the first thing you do? You cancel your sell order. Please don't leave that there. First thing you do, you get rid of it. You delete it, close it, delete it. Your sell order. Okay. No costs involved. You're not in the market. It's a pending order. Delete it. Then what you can do, if it's jumped 50, 80 pips, then you might wonder, if you're worried, put a stop loss in maybe at market, depending on the situation. Put a TP in if you like, or whatever, and follow it. Okay. You need to be in front of your computer. Don't just knock off and go driving off somewhere. Be in front of your computer and follow it. Right. Now you're correct. It's going shooting up, shooting up, shooting up. You move, then you modify your stop. The problem with the NAS is extremely volatile. 20 pip stops don't cut it. So you've got to have 50 pip stop, maybe 50 pip behind. So you eventually stopped out, or you want to take your profit or whatever. Thank you very much. What a pleasant way to end the Thursday. The opposite occurs, same principle. Off it comes. Cancel your buy stop immediately. Start modifying your sell stop. Not modifying, sorry. Putting a stop loss on there by going, putting a stop loss in on the sell, and then you just follow it down until eventually you're out, or it's continuing down. You're happy with your modified stop loss. You might want to run a bit farther. That's your choice depending on the situation, because we don't know it's going to be exactly the same, higher or lower, and not just higher or lower. It might be a lot higher, a lot lower. We just don't know. Okay, so that's the way. If you've got the concept, you understand it fully, you can go live as long as you get your volumes right. If you think you got it, then try the demo. If you still no idea, well, we can do it again, but there's no point doing the demo if you've no idea. You're just playing around, you're wasting your time. The concept you've got to get. That's why try and sell, not parrot fashion, is the concept. Once you got the concept, the rest is number crunch. That's the easy part. If you've got the concept, then you're in a battle. Numbers. What do you mean by numbers? Oh, yeah, okay. 30 pips on the NAS above and below. 25 pips you do in the S&P. Remember, 5 grand or more in your account. Stick with 30 pips in the Dow for 10 grand or more in your account, plus free margin. You'll have free margin. S&P, you can work on 25 pips, and the same principle on all of them. If you're doing the euro dollar or you're doing the US dollar JPY, you can work on 20 pips above or below the market. The volume's got to work out yourself on what balance you got and what you can afford to risk. I don't know if Anna, yes, she's still here. Anna Marie might back me up. She might even want to unmute and tell you. She tried it last time with some success. It's not good for me to talk. I've done it before. Someone who's fairly new tried it out. I think it's got more credibility for that person if she would help us out and have a chat. Tebo. What do you suggest we do if it goes up and then comes down to below? Right, no. First thing you do, that's called whiplash. It shoots up, shoots back. That's why you need to delete your stop. Sorry, your opposite order. Stick with the opposite. Whatever happens, the first thing you do is delete the opposite order. Because the last thing you want to do is to come shooting up, shooting off. Now you're in a long and you get your short. Now you're just completely hedged, but all the costs and all the other, you're nowhere. So you get rid of the opposite order and it starts coming off suddenly and you're panicking about it. Maybe you just close the trade, you might get out of break even. Depends on the situation. To be honest, makes you feel better. I haven't seen many, not saying it won't happen, but I haven't seen many whiplashes for a while. So maybe Murphy's Law is going to say this one will bloody whiplash. just because I bloody said that, but you know what I mean. But yeah, but I haven't seen many whiplashes. You should be okay. The only other thing to remember, also at 3:30 is the jobless claims. Okay, so just bear that in mind. But at least it's exactly the same time. Okay. So now we can predict the market, Tebo. Get rid of the opposite order and then suss the situation. If you're nervous, get out of it. Just have to see what volatility is there. I know, so profit number. Oh, you mean you left the other one in there? Well, that's a pity. That we shouldn't talk about that. I'm a bit fed up about that. Shame. Thanks, Anthony. Roger, you're cutting a lot. What was it? My side. Someone said my voice is cutting out a lot. Anyone else have problems with that? Wow. Anna Marie, you shouldn't be paying commission. Go into a spreads account. Go and open up a spreads account. Okay. Okay, thanks for that, Mark. It's your side. Sorry about that. It's your side. I'm not a quiet person, so if you can't hear me, it's probably your side. Yes, it is. Yeah. Ouch, ouch. Yeah, do that. Go and get a spreads account, Anne Marie. Then you won't have that problem again. Yeah, Tebo, I want to say, you know what Tebo said that I panicked. This is the whole point of Jerome, who's still with us, about trading a live to demo. On a demo, he would not have panicked. That's why you need to learn to trade on a live, because you have these emotions coming in. There's a classic example why I said you're wasting your time on a demo. Trust me, Tebo, hey, if you'd been on a demo, you wouldn't be panicking. But then you probably wouldn't learn anything. Okay, I presume that you're using Clinton's. That's not Clinton, that's John Lewis, I'm assuming. Okay, at least you got the idea, it's John. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have the commission, that's your spread. Because as soon as you go into profit, you're in the blue. When you go in, you're going on the long, the buy, so see a minus, because that's the market maker spread. And once that moves up to there, it'll say zero. So if it's 10 cents in the blue and you close it, there's no commissions. That's 10 cents is yours. Hello, I just come in. Okay, fair enough. Welcome. All these difficult names. I can't pronounce it. Okay, Mr. N, welcome. Okay, right. Are we still in now? It's not when we're doing anything. We're leaving it. We're leaving it. If you come in 20 before we close and you're new to this, you're getting back on it. No, sorry. I think you got a little bit of the stompy there. Leave it for the moment. Nice one, Mark. I agree on that. Yeah. Unless you're on the demo and it didn't mean anything. Right. No, we're not selling or buying. We're talking about a spreads trade for when the CPI and the jobless claims come out +3. If you don't know that or you're not sure, maybe use another trading room this afternoon ongoing. Just to go over it all again, if you're especially beginning, you're probably more confused than anything else. So just pick it up as you go on. Okay. I don't need a background or anything like that. You might have, I have no idea. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's just go back on the spreads trade. Same principle, just so you've got right now. US dollar, Japanese yen, euro dollar, NAS you can afford it, or Dow if you can afford it, or the S&P. Even on the S&P, I'd like it to have 3K in your account. If you haven't got, if you've got 1,500, 2 grand, you can try the euro dollar or the USD JPY. Anything below 1,500 rand, forget it. Two things suggest you've got 1,500 rand or less. Play around until you get confidence, then put more money in. I'm going to be brutally honest. You waste your time with things like that. You're competing with a bow and arrow against guns. It's going to be a battle. You need the capital, unfortunately. Okay. All right. And trying to make a quick buck. I haven't got much, but I'll get something out. It's the biggest problem a lot of people in the world trying to get this something for nothing. I don't want to give you, but I want a lot in return. That is a recipe for disaster. Like anything else, there's got to be some sort of balance to give and take. Okay. Right. As when I try to go out with this, no, that didn't work. Not enough give and take. Right. Gold is still doing that. Go leave alone. Leave alone. Leave them all alone going in. It's going to be pretty sideways. Oh yeah, we'll just check what's happened to GBP CHF. Got it 1330. Anything happening there? What do we do there? We bought. Oh, hey, bloody hell! Actually going up. Oh, excelente. Actually going up. I don't think it was my trade yet. I didn't put the name down. Anyway, it's going up. So could change. Doesn't celebrate this yet. It could jump down suddenly. You know what the markets are like. The noise is there. But at least it's in profit. Nice one. AUD CHF. My trade. That's what it was not going to be like yesterday. AUD CHF. I think we should hand over to somebody else to the trading room host, because that was mine and it's 6 pips in negative. And if I came with pounds, or was that mine? No, it wasn't mine. Bloody hell. Not my week. Anyway, it's only 6 pips, so we won't panic as yet. Okay. I'm like you, Market, and that. Commentator's curse is a big part of my life. I guarantee that will happen. Then you take the opposite, because I guarantee it will not happen. You might have a laugh, Zeph. Wet the Euro CHF again. Oh, we don't learn, and the guy's lost on it. Leave that bloody Euro. In fact, next time we do this Euro CHF, we won't do it unless Zeph's around. And what I say, and if he says the opposite, you go with Zeph, not me. Okay. GBP JPY. No, we didn't. That's for whatever reason. What now? No, we didn't. Do you want to do that one? I'm not keen. Oh, brilliant. Did you, Zeph? I'm sorry you lost money. That's probably a wrong incentive comment. Brilliant. At least you agreed on that one. Yeah. Yeah. So in other words, the trade on technically speaking was correct. We didn't know the euro suddenly jump. I think it was finally smart speaking. What's happened there? I went up on that actually after that conversation finally. And they said, yeah, the expectations are more continuous Lagarde hawkish, and they think there's going to be a Fed continue on the dovish. Well, I don't see particularly Fed's been particularly dovish. It's eased up a little bit. Doesn't say it's a dove. So that I hadn't carried it. I think that was more buying the rumor rather than anything else. So the analysis comment then didn't go with that. So still don't know. But that happened. That's why you have a stop loss. Why not? Well, first of all, what do you want to do? Buy it. It's the sell zone. So you want to sell it. It's halfway house. It's right on resistance. Is it going to break through? We don't know. It might pop up back up there before it comes down again. It's right on resistance to sell it. If it pops up, it might pop up, but it's in the sell zone. Because every time I see a tick to buy, I see a tick to leave it alone. That's why. Yeah, remember it happened. Oh, you were saying yourself, yeah. They say finally called me up on that. Remember that? It just suddenly jumped. Why is that? I don't know. I've looked into it, and the stuff they came out with sound like Anna's paid a lot of money to come up for some reason, but I've been around a long time to see through it. Got enough knowledge to see through it. And that to me, got to earn me money, got to come up for some reason kind of article. Didn't make a lot of sense. I can come up with that. Pay me $1 million, I'll come up with that. That's not a reason. What they came up was not good enough. Why then? What happened then to make it suddenly jump in those couple of hours? So I still don't know. Anyway, didn't do us any favors. If it went the other way, I would say, Roger, oh, well done there. And I would say, yeah, that was a brilliant piece of my analysis, wasn't it? Me on back of the ranch, I got lucky. Confirmation theory. That's exactly it. Don't have confirmation. We don't want to buy it in the sell zone. We don't want to sell it here because a few buyers are coming in. Is it going to break through? We don't know. Do we want to buy it? No. Do you want to sell it? No confirmation. Leave it alone. CHF JPY. I want to keep an eye on that. I don't know, they've got a fixation this one. Still falling. Don't want to catch a falling sword. But I think it's coming near enough for a buy. Maybe I'm pushing you guys when I shouldn't, because in my own emotion telling this is gonna bounce. So a bit of support there. Can we get a risk reward? Try the 4-hour. Maybe more confirmation, but I think it's a good chance this thing's oversold. But it's still coming off, so maybe leave it. I don't know. I think we're missing out here. I think we're going to miss out on this one. We're doing something else. Can we come down maybe 140, 70 or 80 or whatever and bounce and then bugger it? We'll see anyway. Yeah, I know. We had a shit day yesterday, Mark. Four-letter words on here. Sorry, I know it's recorded. Sorry, guys, you're blanching at these four-letter words, but we've had a shit day yesterday. The Tesla wasn't any bloody good as well, unless the guys were stopped down. They weren't. It came right. No, it was a day to forget yesterday. In fact, it's been a bit of a week to forget so far. Except Monday wasn't bad. Monday was good. Tuesday and Wednesday were days to forget. Well, you bought. There you are. So yeah, if you went against our trades, you'd have done well. Yeah, I'm not allowed to tell you. I'm going to break the rules here. Mark's got $1 million account. So he made $57,000 there. So that's why he's pleased. Is it coming up? Just right, because that was a sell we got. Actually, it's a good point. We'll have mentioned that. We had a US dollar CHF sell on that. When was that? It was a couple of days or so ago. It was on Mondays. Where the hell is it? I think it's the TP. I don't know. Anyway, US dollar CHF. I think we did another one, did we? Anyway, where is it now? I can't see it written down. Oh, yes, we have. Yeah, 92.88, found it. So it's not doing too well at the moment, is it? In fact, nothing's done too well the last couple of days, so I'd rather not be reminded. Yeah. So we get a liquidity provider, Mr. Shearer. I think we probably have to go somewhere else to get that kind of Tom. That's another story. Okay, where were we? Yeah, it's not at the stop. 87 is the stop, so we're still okay, but not pretty at the moment. But if you've gone into it here, I'm not against that. Just, well, I'm in a little bit because we know what's going to happen to CPI. You might have an immediate pull down and might jump up. I don't know. I'm not going to guess that. All right. Anything else you want to look at? Is quick views of trades, the AUD thing coming right? AUD CHF coming all right? Try doing. What's yours again? GBP CHF. Got some stuff coming out tomorrow morning on that as well. Don't forget on the pound, that is. Keep an eye on that. But that's doing even better. That's doing nicely. Well done. You can indeed, Robert. But don't fall over laughing. Don't get upset. Carry on. Just keep.
So no, I meant CPI question. A bit of a conflict.
I can't hear you. Too muffled.
Is that a bit better?
Oh, a million times more.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Go for it.
Awesome. Okay. It was actually a typo. It's a CPI question, but might also be a child question. So look, I've been going through my fundamental analysis notes, looking at what speculators do about the forecast and the expectation of the forecast. And my understanding is that the big money over the last few days is basically speculating on whether it's going to be higher or lower than the forecast. And if it is exactly on the forecast, they're going to exit in any case because it's not what they want. And so what I can see on the DXY is that they're selling the dollar and then they're expecting of a cooler inflation than the 6.5 forecast. Now, how happy would they be with like a 6.3? Would they be really happy, or it would be more less than that they're looking for? Obviously, and my understanding is if they get higher than the forecast, obviously the dollar's going to rally. But how much lower would it fall to sink further? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Completely, yeah. Basically, they're expecting it to be below 6.5. Now you say, why would they expect it to be below? Because they're expecting it below. Why don't they say the expectation is 6 instead of 6.5? Well, that's the overall expectation. It'll be 6.5. They're guessing that it's going to be better. And I'm using that guessing on purpose. They're guessing, those guys are guessing it's going to be slightly better, but they don't know. Now, if it's exactly the same, you might get a little bit of jumping around, but it'll be a bit of a damp squib. Now, what is going to be their reaction is only 0.2 or 0.4% below expectations or 0.6 below. I have absolutely no idea. I will know if it's a lot below, there'll be a sudden jump in the dollar, absolutely, and the NAS and the rest will come off. But the extent of the interpretation, I don't know. I've seen some funny things going on in this business, where I've seen a slight discrepancy, an enormous reaction. I've seen some really decent discrepancies between the actual and the expected figures, and a disappointing reaction. So it depends what the reaction's going to be out there with the big money. I can't make that call, but otherwise you're spot on, etc. If it's below, expectation is dollar will strengthen and the shares, not the forex like in GBP, anything can happen there, but they're expecting the dollar will strengthen, the gold will weaken, the indices and the shares will weaken. Right, well, the shares won't because the market's not open at 3:30, but you get the idea. Indices will weaken and vice versa, and it's better. Okay, does that sort of answer it, or am I missing the point?
No, that's 100%. Thank you so much. Yeah, look, I was just looking at November's CPI, with the forecast of 7.3, and then it came in at 7.1. And then obviously there wasn't a huge long-term reaction. There was a little bit of a dip in the beginning, but it continued with a sell in the dollar, which was already happening, if my understanding is correct, from September.
The longer term, even out of it, went back to sudden rallies. But I disagree in the immediate reaction. It's quite large. In fact, the CPI, because this interest rate and inflation and debt problem, is now actually taking on, and most people, including myself, more importance than non-farm payrolls. That used to be the granddaddy of them all, but it's now the CPI. And I saw more reaction last month's CPI coming out than I did on the non-farms, if you get my point. So this inflation is the complete dominance at the moment. Powell's quite open about it, and he's quite right to be open. They're gorging themselves on the borrowing, and ultra low to zero interest rates has created an inflationary problem and a debt problem like you won't believe. So the CPI is the king at the moment. That's why I'm getting the odds today, but I've got to be back in front of my computer. I think Mark actually won't mention any names here, Mark. I said when you call the guy who was doing the I called the person up and he says, no, I'm driving at the moment or whatever. Well, if you're a broker and you're managing people's accounts and you're not in front of your computer and the CPI or the non-farms came out, you're quite right, Mark. You should be the radar should be going off. You know what I mean? Yeah, so he's lost connection, so maybe he's not listening to this. But yeah. So basically, this is critical of what's going to be happening. And on top of it, it's the jobless claims as well. So it's a double. So be careful going up that time. And if you like to buy stop, sell stop, you're not confident, try out the demo. If you've no idea, don't bother at all. If you've got some idea, try the demo. If you've got full idea, you don't want to miss out on real money. It's no good saying, I'm still nervous, I'll go for the demo because I'm scared. And it comes off. And you made 500 Rand that's fake or 5,000 Rand that's fake. And it could have been real money. You're going to be doubly fed up. But only if you're confident you know what the concept's all about. Give it a go. And we'll see how it went at 4 o'clock when we're back in the trading room. I hope I'm going to get some happy stories coming out. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. It's count 11. I've got to shoot off just now. I've got to get to the office for the meeting I'm going to. Still falling. Keep an eye on that CHF-JPY. We might get a buy, even though it's in the sell zone at the moment. I think it might come up a bit further. Keep an eye on it. We'll discuss it later on. We do the 4 o'clock show. Okay, guys, great stuff. Have fun. Hope it comes right, and hope we get rid of these last 2 days and start getting into some profit with the trades going forward. See you guys at 4 o'clock. Okay. Thanks, Shifra. I think it was your trade that Shifra. One was the GBP. One's doing well. Let's hope it continues.